Hi, this is Leanne, and this is From the Heart. And I was inspired by the last episode, re listening to Sara talk about Dallas and how their second birth was unattended while their midwives were on their way to their birth. Um, Made me look up what information do people have when it comes to catching your baby unattended in those few minutes where there is no one around. Birth is a normal thing, and sometimes it's really fast and so fast you just don't have the people surrounding you. So this happens more so with baby number two, less so with baby number one, less so with maybe number three, because people are just a bit more ready, and like second babies are just a little bit of a surprise. So when it comes to birth, number one thing you need to know is that it is a privilege for us to be attending someone's birth, and the person who's really doing the work is the person who's having the baby. So our job as the ones who are surrounding her and supporting her is to stay grounded and to help her out, which can feel sometimes a little bit hard because of our culture. We have a fear culture around birth, and now it's a time to kind of step out of that and remind ourselves, what does it that I have to do? So at a time where a baby is coming out fast and you don't have the people surrounding you, it's the number two thing to do, which would like you do them at the same time, basically, is call for that help. So when you're on your phone and you're calling 911, let's say, if you have a midwife, you always call your midwife first. If you don't have a midwife, you call 911. And then if you have a midwife, it's your choice. If you want to call 911, she will tell you, do you want to call 911? And you get to say what your preference is. Now, when you call 911, if you've never called 911 before, the first thing they ask you is, who do you want? And then it's kind of like, what are you asking? So they're going to ask you, do you want the paramedics? Do you want the fire people? And do you want the police? And then you just say paramedics. I want paramedics. And so they're going to dispatch you to paramedics. And then the next thing that you say is, so and so tells me that the baby is coming. She's having a baby. She feels like pushing, or she is pushing. And you say, my address is, I am here. Okay, then they have to go through a script. They're going to ask you more questions like her age and things like that. But the most important thing is that you told them someone's having a baby and this is where I am. Boom. And then I'm gonna put a few videos, because this is something that midwives do. We send each other's these videos that are like funny about people who deliver unattended, because people actually record themselves. Like I don't understand how your brain can think of doing that. Anyways, people do it. It's the world of Instagram. And so everything else that I'm going to tell you is seems to be obsolete. And so, but I'll just let you know what birth looks like. If you're delivering upright, your birth will be faster. So this is a good thing. But when you're unattended, if you hope for your midwife, for the paramedics to arrive, you can try to move side laying. So that it just will slow down your birth by a minute or two, and like reduce that pressure from your baby coming down onto your cervix. So you'll have a less of an urge to push if you do that. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is you don't want to be too high up from the floor. So if you're really high from the floor and your baby is really coming out fast, then that baby has a long distance from here to the floor. And we want to protect their noggins, and we don't want that cord to snap when they come out. So if you need to be leaning forward, so instead of being on your feet, move down to your knees, so that you have the same feeling of having that pressure off your back, but you're closer to the floor. And so if when your baby comes out, then it's less of a drop for your baby. If you're on the toilet, the reason why we tell you to get off the toilet, especially when you're unattended, is because the toilet is a hard place to land, and we want that place to be soft. So if you are the baby catcher and you are like a baby catcher, I mean like the partner, the person who's surrounding, the person who's in labor, and she's on her hands and knees, the way you're going to catch the baby is going to be like this. So you're going to catch with your forearms. If she is closer to the floor and more so on her back or on her side, then you'll be able to catch with your hands rather than your entire forearms. Um, this prevents the baby from dropping more than your baby needs to. So, with the birth of a baby, what happens is that we start seeing the baby's head. She's pushing, she's pushing, she's pushing. We see more of the baby's head. She stops pushing. Okay, the baby retracts a little bit. This is protective to the tissues. And then as she's pushing more and more and more. You see more of the baby's head, maybe a retraction, maybe not. This is about crowning right here. And then with the next contraction, the head is going to be born. So you're going to see the head. If she's on her hands and knees, you're going to be seeing the face. So baby's going to look like it's coming out this way. And if she is on her back, then the baby is going to look like it's coming out this way. Now, after the head is born, we wait for the next contractions. We don't need to do anything here. And we wait for the next contraction. And then naturally what happens without us doing anything is that the baby's head turns towards her thigh. It just does this. And then with the next contraction, the baby just slides out facing her thigh. So facing the side. And when they first come out, the head comes out facing the sacrum or the tailbone, and it faces the side just a few minutes afterwards. And then that baby will be entirely born with that contraction with the shoulders. The entire baby's body will be born. And then the job is to keep that baby warm and close to mom. So you'll just note the time you're going to be speaking out loud as things happen. For the person who is on speakerphone, when you say the baby is born, it will be their job to be like, oh, it is 3:56. That is the time of the baby's birth. They will note that. And then they're going to say, okay, what's the baby doing? And if the baby is grimacing, if the baby's got a good tone like this, it's a really good thing. I'm going to say that the baby's going to start crying. That's a really good thing. If your baby doesn't have really good tone, and your baby's just a little floopier, just needs a little bit of a wake up. What you're going to do is you're going to take a towel or a blanket or someone's coat, whatever, and you're just going to hold your baby as if you're burping that baby, and you're just going to rub their backs. You're going to talk to them. You're going to say, hi, baby, you're out now. It's time to cry. Your mama wants to hear you. So I do this. I talk to babies, and my colleagues and my students will tell me I talk to babies. So this is what I do. A baby that has come out fast will usually turn around really, really fast. So this is why we also have help on the way. But if your baby is talking to you, no problem. You don't need to do anything except for keeping baby and mom close together. Now, if the cord is short and there isn't much cord coming out of the baby's umbilicus, and then back inside the woman's vagina because the placenta is still attached, then it's just determining if the baby's going to come up to her heart or lower to her belly. So if that cord is short, we put the baby a little lower. As long as that baby stays warm and close to mom, that's what really matters. Now, when it comes to the cord around the neck, this is a very normal thing that happens about 30% of the time, and it's not an emergency like we like to think that it is. If there's a cord around the neck, what we do, like we don't try to fiddle, we don't try to touch the cord more than we need to. So if you note that there's a cord around the neck, you don't need to feel for a cord. That's actually something I stopped doing in my practice because I was taught as a student to feel for the cord, and I ended up stopping because it would hurt women and not be of any benefit. So what I do is as that baby's head is born and then they turn their heads to the side towards her thigh, what we do is we keep the head close to the perineum or her face, to the back of the head. You push the baby's face towards the thigh. And then as the baby comes out, it somersaults. And then the head stays close to the perineum. And then that cord isn't lengthened, so it's not stretched out. And then once the baby is born, you just unwrap it. And then, okay, here's your baby. So that's basically what it is. You just keep that baby's head closer to the perineum if the cord is around there. If there's lots of length and baby's born really fast and you don't even notice it, then you just unwind it after. So some babies have really long cords that can handle being born without that somersault. So, and you'll like, honestly, nature takes its course and you'll figure it out. Birth is different, like every time. It's different from one to another to another. So, congratulations to you and mama who had this baby, and hopefully help comes soon. And thanks to Stacy who lent me her little doll. I do have a course coming out. It is a prenatal course that prepares people for birth. I am a former midwife. I was a midwife for 13 years, catching babies for 18 years. It will be preparing people for birth specifically and then shortly after birth. It is a course where we go into a lot more detail. I don't have like a part on how to catch your own baby. This is just a podcast episode for information purposes. In the course, there's like sections. It's like talking about what the stages of labor are and what is helpful for the person to be doing during that time, what is helpful for the partner to be during that time, and then all the variations of birth that can happen and how to prevent interventions from happening, how to help yourself heal from these things, and what are the interventions and tests and medications that will be offered to your baby after birth. Just so that you can come really ready and prepared, but you can have like that time while you're pregnant and really like think about what you want. And so these things are not brand new to you soon after your baby is born. So I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you in the next episode.